Hi, this is Michael coming to you from Scottsdale, Arizona. It is Wednesday, March 24th, in 2015. The stock market is taking a drubbing again today. It's taken a drubbing the last 4 or 5 days. I think we're down over 200 points. I mean, it's been bouncing around, but I think it was down 236 points a little while ago. Might recover, but pretty volatile times. So I need to get my disclaimer. I am not a licensed stockbroker, nor am I a licensed financial advisor. I am a real estate broker here in the state of Arizona. These thoughts are mine and mine alone. And these videos are for educational purposes and not for financial advice. So before you do take any of this advice, you might want to talk to your significant other, which is always a good thing if you want to continue to have a significant other, and talk to your financial advisors. So before you do anything we suggest here. Now, today we're talking about creating a real estate money machine. The question is, why do we want to do that? First off, it's income. We're an income investor. I've been an income investor for years and years and years, and income is the primary reason that I'm investing in real estate. We want to get that dependable monthly income coming in each and every month, and we want to be able to grow it. We've discussed this before. If I get $1,200 this year, next year hopefully I'm going to get 2.5% to 3% more, so I'll be getting $1,225 or $1,235, and the following year after that I'll get $1,270, and we want to grow that income. But it's income that we're looking for. And I've been advising everyone to really talk to their financial advisor and see if there isn't maybe a time for you to reallocate some of your investments. I certainly advocate getting into some very conservative residential real estate purchases, small apartment complexes, some medical complexes. And if it's just a single family residential home, it's just such a compelling investment tool at this point. We're selling quite a few of these. I have a case study for a pension fund, which is a tax-advantaged account anyway. We really hate to do that because it really belongs outside of an IRA or a KEO account. However, the asset class at this juncture in time is so compelling that if you do the numbers, it just works for most people. So you need to take a look at this. So why do we want to come out of the stock market? Well, the stock market's had a huge run. So people are talking that's in bubble territory. Perhaps it's unsustainable. Personally, I think we have a recession coming. All these things are not good for a continuation of the run in the stock market. Also, if you have had huge profits, which if you've been in the market for the last 2 or 3 years, it's prudent to take some profits. So I have been recommending that you take 1/3 of your profits, take it off the market. Let's put it in a different asset class. Now, real estate certainly has recovered, and it was in bubble territory. I mean, we can all think of that 8-9 years ago, why things were just absolutely insane. Certainly have recovered from the dark days of 2009 and 2010, but it's not in bubble territory. And besides that, if we do have some kind of a slowdown in the economy, real estate rentals, where you lay your head at night, are basic commodities. People will pay their rent before they pay their credit card or their car payment, because everybody needs a place to live. And during the last downturn in 2008, our rental income just continued. It did soften a little bit because the economy softened, but not very much. And when we softened up a little bit, all the expenses softened up as well. We found that the insurance costs came down, the real estate taxes came down, the maintenance came down. So we had a lot of mitigating factors, and that income kept coming in month after month after month. And I liken it to this as being a farmer. Sometimes you have a great crop, sometimes you have a lean crop, but each and every year we do have a crop. And that's what we want to do, is we want to consistently have income coming in and become income investors. Just take your eye off the fact that it's X dollars, because we're more concerned with how much does this X dollars bring us each and every month. Now, you can't do that in the stock market. I mean, if you own IBM stock and you want to pay your rent, or you want to buy a cruise, or you want to pay your kids' college tuition, or you want to take your grandkids to Disneyland, the only way you can do that owning IBM stock is to go ahead and sell some of it. And every time you sell some of it, you have less and less of your assets. So what I'm telling you is that we want to take that capital and use the income off the capital and not touch the capital. We want to always have that capital into these properties and use just the income off that capital for the return to live on. And it should be easy enough to do. Now, I'm going to tell you this case study. I'm going to give you two case studies. So we just did the one, and we closed that in January. This is March, and we bought it, but we just closed on it maybe 6 or 7%. And when I say we, it was my client and I. We closed that property, and it was really for him. The property leased for $1,125 while we were having the building painted and cleaned. It had 3 rental opportunities on that property. And it rented for $1,125. We had $1,125 security deposit, and it's $200 or $300 a month, or $200 or $300 for cleaning fee, which is profit center for us. We get to keep that. Now, after paying taxes, insurance, HOA fees, putting a 5% vacancy in for rentals, and we put a $100 repair escrow in as well. That $1,125. We still return almost $10,000 a year for him. That works out to be 6% cash, 6% cash return. Now, if you go into stocks and bonds, I think maybe the dividends, if you take a lot of risk, you're going to look at maybe 1 or 2%. If you want to take no risk, really low risk, you can go into CDs and you can get a whopping 1/4%, or depending on the length of it, maybe if it's a shorter term, we can get 1/10 of 1%. So if you put $1 million in, you might get $1,000 back. You put $1 million into real estate that we're doing, you're going to get $60,000 back. So it's a huge difference. You can just see the cash difference. Now on this property, because it was a pension fund, we paid cash for it. But if I wanted to do this just for an investment outside of a pension fund, and we do have some pension fund money, quite honestly, that we can use to finance, but we didn't. This was cash. But if I wanted to enhance the returns on this property, what I would do is put a little leverage on it. So I've worked this out. So if I put the sweet spot on this particular property would have been 30% down, and I could have gotten about a 4.5% mortgage on this property. 30 years at 4.5%. And keep in mind, we have strategies to get principal reduction going, so we can have those properties paid off between 13 and 18 years, and you have a free and clear cash flowing property that will cash flow for the rest of your life, for your children's life, for your great-great-grandchildren's life. I mean, I personally have properties for 30 years that have been paid off for years and years and years, and we have no intention of selling them. They just keep bringing us cash each and every month. So on this particular property, if we were to finance it, the cash-on-cash return would be 5.9%, almost 6%. But there's some hidden returns on this. If we have a mortgage, keep in mind that built into that payment is a principal reduction to it. And the very first year, which is the least that you're going to get, but the very first year is going to add 3% return to that 6% to get a 9%, because we're going to have another $1,800 in principal reduction on this. And quite honestly, I have children, and if anyone who has children, you just realize how fast time goes. You can have this property paid off in the blink of an eye, and your tenant paid this off. So we can raise that 50% just by putting a little leverage onto it. So we can go from a 6 to a 9% total return on this property. Now, because I'm in a tax advantage industry, I get depreciation because I'm considered an active investor. Anyone in the real estate business is considered an active investor. And if you can talk to your tax accountant and your tax advisor, perhaps you can get active investor status, in which case then we don't have to worry about depreciation amounts. And if we depreciate this particular property, we add another 3% to the total return because we can get depreciation. You can take the building account and depreciate that by 27 and a half years, and you can take that right off your taxes. And quite honestly, I built that in at 28%. Virtually everyone I know is on at least 28% tax bracket. So you have tax savings. So we can enhance these so we can go from a 6% to a 12% return. Now, let me ask you, where can you go that you can get income and additional return safely like this coming in each and every month? Now, I also have another case study, and we're talking about what happens when you pay these off. So I put one of the properties that I personally own. I own this for 31 years. 31 years I've owned it. It's been leased every one of those years. I don't think we've ever had the property vacant for more than a couple of weeks, and most of the time that's because we're working in the property. and I have the address on it. But I bought that property. 1984 for about $46,000. I put 20% down, which would have been $9,200. I think is what the case study shows. Now that property today, conservatively, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath here in Phoenix, right off the expressway in the north side of town, right off the bus line. It's in a really good school district. That property, on any day of the week, is worth $140,000. So it's gone from $46,000 with $9,000 down, $9,200 down, to now $140,000. So that $9,200 is now worth $140,000. Well, keep in mind, I've had this leased on a cash flow basis for 30 years. I have taken over $125,000 in cash flow out of that property. And I get depreciation. So by the time you add in my cash flow and what the property is worth today, I've taken almost $275,000 with a $9,200 investment. So this is how you make money in real estate. So here's what we'd like you to do, is to find a location in your town, virtually anywhere in the United States, somewhere in the town within 20 or 30 minutes where most people live. There'll be a suitable neighborhood. We call that a universe of homes. In that universe of homes, you're going to find that 50 to 60% of the average tenant is going to find those homes a very good location to lease. And they're going to give you cash flow. If they don't give you cash flow, it's not for you. We're cash flow investors. If you can't get cash flow, then we need to move on and find a different property. So find yourself a good broker. The broker is going to be essential. Sit down, he'll be able to tell you evaluations. All these properties are sold in ranges. The property that we looked at that I have as a case study we just closed. That's the other thing. I mean, I should add that too. I really hesitate to do that, but we paid $164,000 total. That included about $2,500. I think the actual closing statement was $161,000. And I sold it to another single family, but I duplicated the property to another client, and it appraised at $168,000. So $7,000 additional on top of this property drives your total return on your first year, because you had appreciation. Normally I don't even put appreciation into these properties, but this particular property had appreciation. We'll drive it into the mid-teens on a return. So talk to a broker, get a good mortgage broker, and I would say shop. Look at hundreds of houses while you're waiting. I'd like you to buy at least one house. You're welcome to call me with any of your thoughts. If you have a concern, if you have a question, I get calls. I answer my phone. I get calls all the time, and I'll put my phone on here. I also put these case studies. So my very best to you. If you have any kind of questions, please give me a call. Bye-bye now.